found out that we don't want to be indifferent when it comes to God and to his word. Amen. Amen. This morning, though, we want to talk about a church at her best. Now, I must do justice to this subject because we all know that the church is feminine. Amen. Church is not an it. It's not an inanimate object. It is a living, breathing organism. Amen. Amen. The reason we know that it's feminine is because lives are birthed through the church. Am I right there? Amen. So we thank God for the church at her best. Dr. Beverly, brothers and sisters, we might as well go on and admit that we have witnessed in our lifetime seeing the church both at her best and at her worst. Fact about it, if we tell the whole truth, we are witnessing the church at her worst. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to graduate summa cum laude or magna cum laude from any institution of higher learning. You don't have to matriculate at Harvard or any of the Ivy League schools to discover that the church is not what it used to be. Do I have a witness? Fact about it, the church as we know her has undergone some drastic changes. And those changes have produced catastrophic effects. Fact about it, the world is reeling and rocking because the church is operating at her worst.
All right.
Amen. This morning, as we look at the church and we recognize that it has been working at her worst, I thank God for this text because it is in the unfolding of this text that we can see a church that operates at her best. Yes, sir. Today, I can shout right now, as I witness this text and see what happens as the church at Thessalonica shows us all how the church really ought to conduct herself. All right. Today I believe that most churches are satisfied, Sister Rose, with being average. Lord help. They're satisfied with being an average church. And if you ask most of the members about their individual churches, most of them will readily confess that my church is just an average church. But you do need to understand what average is. Average is just a step below the best and a cut above the worst. And whenever you say that your church is an average church, all you're saying is that I'm just barely above being the worst. And I'm a cut below being the best. So today the church has to somehow get back to operating at her best. Amen. Now here in the book of Thessalonica, we see Paul writing a letter to this young Thessalonican congregation. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time with this history, but Paul founded the church of Thessalonica on his second missionary journey. And in Acts chapter 17, when you get some time, read that. Acts chapter 17, Paul makes some statements about this church in Thessalonica. And I'm excited about what Paul has to say about this church because there are some churches in this Bible that you really don't want to be like. You do know that there are in this Bible some worldly churches. There are in this Bible some immature churches. There are in this Bible some demonic churches. But here in this church in Thessalonica shows how we ought to be.
All right. Yes, sir.
And today, wouldn't it be wonderful
Yes, it would.
if this church, if Mount Moriah, if First Missionary,
That's right.
if Mountain Park and Mount Lebanon would look into 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 and declare that this is how I want my church to be.
Lord have mercy.
More pastors would sleep better.
Amen.
More choirs would sing better.
Yes,
Deacons would pray better.
all right.
Ushers would serve better. And the worship would be out of this world.
All right.
But because we have drifted so far away, for many of us, it takes a lot for us to just come to church.
Listen.
Because many of us know that as soon as we get there, it's going to be some confusion. When we get to church, somebody's going to bring up something that has nothing to do with the church. When we come to church, there's going to be some argument to break out. So rather for most of us it being a joy to come to church, for many of us it's a burden to come to church. Paul says that here's a church
Yes, sir.
that caught on to the gospel.
All right, sir.